Got a game here on okay, we don't. It's on like the DLC patch, like the Thrones of Decay patch, but me and Tactical Lich only have access to the free LC content right now. So Lich is not going to take any of the Empire's like DLC units because we literally don't have access to it. But I was playing around with Skaven versus his Empire, both trying out some new things. Now I'm trying out the buffed slash fixed, depending on how you want to phrase it, Warpfire throwers with their better arcs of fire. They can shoot up and over your front line and do better damage, and they're a little more reliable, so I'm trying them out. Deathglow Bombardiers on the live patch, like the one you people are playing on, is they've actually been performing pretty well, so I wanted to try them out. And then, I don't know, I can't prove it, but Doomflayers feel better on the new patch, but I did some testing to like really quantify it, and it didn't, like, it was inconclusive, but in-game they feel a lot better than they did on the live patch. So for my build, I have Clan Rats and Skaven Slaves in the front line. I did a center of Skaven Slaves, so my Warpfire throwers could shoot over them and do some friendly fire damage, while I have Clan Rats on the flanks, and they're a little more expensive. I have a Mutant Rat Ogre in case my opponent took a big single entity like the Steam Tank. I didn't want to get rolled. I have Lord Skrulk with his Summons and Blessed with Filth, and then some Rat Ogres and Death Globes, like we said. On the other side, for the Empire, it is a man-tide. There's a lot of dudes. Spearmen and Flagellants and Swordsmen across the front line, some Huntsmen for a little bit of shooting. We have Empire Knights on the flanks, and the new Gold Wizard with Plague of Rust and Searing Doom. No Final Transmutation, which is always very good versus Skaven. I know Tactical Lich and I were just having some fun, but just a serious note, if you're actually trying to play against Skaven, just bring Final Transmutation. Like, you can bring on their spells, but Final Trans has to be one of them, because their single entities are so important to kill. And then their Lord is the Arch-Lector. Brought Grand Shield of Faith, Grand Hammer Sigmar, Crown of Command. He just wants to make his front line unbreakable and a little tougher for me to deal with here. So trying out the Gold Wizard versus the buffed up Warpfire throwers and potentially buffed Doomflayers. Potentially. So here we go. The Warpfire throwers are setting up. They're going to get their first volley off straight over the Skaven Slaves into them. Mostly hitting Skaven Slaves, but still taking a good chunk off of the Swordsman, which is all you really want, because I'm trading Skaven Slave health for Swordsman health, which is super worth it. Skrulk is in the front line. I throw out a summon to go fight Huntsman, and I also throw down Rod of Corruption to damage the Swordsman further and bail out my Warpfire throwers from their impending doom. Doomflayers have charged in the front line as well, again causing that disruption, but I think they're going to try and get on the back line sooner rather than later, and the Mutant Rat Ogre is just following the Arch-Lector around, tending to run in place a bit more than I would like. Oh, Mutant Rat Ogre, you're trash. Just swing. Just swing once or twice. But in comes the Empire's flank. I do send out some Rat Ogres to stall them for just a second. Death Globes are going to try and throw uphill. And again, another thing, I can't verify this, but Death Globes and Poison Globes feel a little just more reliable on the new patch. Like, they actually throw more often than not. But not huge damage from them just yet. And my Skaven are in mass exodus. We still have some more Fire Throwers alive, still have some Death Globes alive. And the Arch-Lector is having a terrible time versus Skrulk and the Mutant Rat Ogre. So those are going well for me. But there's just a lot of dudes. Unbreakable Flagellants especially are quite hard to deal with. And I do have some Doom players in the backline harassing Huntsman down. Being annoying, keeping me safe. Plague of Rust Overcast lowers my Death Globes down to 40 armor as they run away from Flagellants, taking some big damage. But Skaven are rallying in the backlines. And I do have a Warpfire Thrower dueling with a Huntsman right here. Now the Huntsman, more than happy to trade with the Warpfire Throwers. Still good damage onto them. The Warpfire Throwers get a little bit of return, but the Huntsman's spread out formation, that makes that a pretty difficult sell. And now with Searing Doom is even going to hit my poor little Warpfire Throwers. And they attempt to dodge, but it is too late. Globe's going to try and punish a Flagellant blob just a little bit, while Skrulk and the Mutant Rat Ogre in the background are chasing an Arch-Lector here and there. And the Death Globes do good damage to the Flagellants and the Empire Knights. But more Empire Knights are running around my backline, making sure that none of my Warpfire Throwers can really come back and stay in the fight. This Warpfire Thrower is here, roasts down some Spearmen with shields, lowering their leadership because of the burnt debuff, but also look at that damage. The new UI, I think that like damage indicator lingers for a little too long, but it is what it is. Mutant Rat Ogre chasing around the Gold Wizard while Skrulk tries to finish the Arch-Lector. But a Searing Doom will hurt these Clan Rats. They are just a summon, so I guess it's fine to get murdered. And now I have Doom Flayers in the back line, still harassing some things. I think one of them, he's over here helping me fight the Archlector, locking him in place. Oh, okay. Soon he'll probably go into the back line and actually start chasing stuff off. And Radiger is pursuing the Gold Wizard. Spearmen try and get between me and my quarry. Warpfire Thrower is finally getting shut down. They haven't gotten insane value, I don't think, but they've been fine. They paid for themselves. Bursted down a lot of Imperial troops. Doomflayer stuck fighting Empire Knights with 114 armor due to their little extra plating, the best defense or whatever. Whenever they're in melee, they get a bunch more armor. It's nice against the Empire Knights. Skrulk's going to throw out a little Clan Rat summon that'll probably fight the Flagellants while we chase these guys off. Do have Death Globes rallying the trees, trying to keep themselves safe, and the Mutant Rat Ogre is running around, still trying to chase down the Gold Wizard, but taking fights along the way, like with these Empire Knights right here. Clawing them down. Skaven are up on the balance power by quite a lot. I would agree, especially because the Archlector's dead, so the Empire's not feeling too good. And they're largely out of HP. We have a half-health Empire Knight here. I swear there was a healthier one running around, but he must have gotten nuked by something while I wasn't looking. Blessed with Filth is popped. Give my Rat Ogres poison. Mutant Rat Ogre too. There is another Searing Doom onto Clan Rats, but once again, that is a summon, so a lot of summons getting nuked down by Searing Dooms, but it's whatever. I just wanted to hold them in place while I Death Globes got off another brutal volley onto those Flagellants. Gold Wizard fights with the Mutant Rat Ogre for a bit. Now I'm getting a little concerned. The Mutant Rat Ogre is surrounded by Flagellants and Empire Knights. He's taking a lot of damage. His leadership is starting to dip. Skrulk is here to try and buff him up a little bit in leadership department. I do have, ooh, I didn't bring Stand Your Ground, but I do have Rod of Corruption here. Maybe that'll help me. And wait, Skrulk has ITP? Oh, from Frenzy. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I was like, since when does Skrulk have ITP? What the hell? Death Globes got in range for a little volley. Other Death Globes are coming up as well, but a Searing Doom takes out my Skaven Slaves. That was not a summon. That was real support that I actually did need. Rat Ogre's still getting beaten up by Flagellants, but in comes the Clan Rat summon just in time to save me there. And my Doom Flayers doing their jobs. Right, this one's still half HP. That one is a quarter HP, but it's fighting Empire Knights in the background, making sure Huntsmen don't come back. And the Warpfire Throwers are in again. That late game burnt debuff paired with Contaminated is a lot of leadership debuffs from Skrulk and the Warpfire Throwers working together. Pushes off some of those spears. Death Globes try and save themselves from the Empire Knight charge. They take a lot of damage, but not enough. Mutant Rat Ogre rear charging them should take them out, and then Skrulk with a big Rod of Corruption on two different state troops that are walking into the fight. That should be it as more and more Imperials start to rout. Doom Flayers are chasing off things in the distance, shattering off some other things. And now it's just a Gold Wizard with no Final Transmutation. And that is why I bring it up, is like, Final Trans would have been nice in this fight to finish off the Mutant Rat Ogre or deal with Skrulk or something. But for now, the Gold Wizard's just trying to rally what forces he can. He gets hit with a couple things. Rat Ogres charge him. And that'll be GG. Skaven victory versus the Gold Wizard forces. Skrulk did good. Mutant Rat Ogre overall did okay. I needed him in case of a big terror piece. Doom Flayers were still around. I mean, they still had a lot of HP. I really did like them as matchup. They were nice. Both my Death Globes did pretty darn well. Rat Ogres did what they had to, and then Warpfire Throwers, one got shut down early, the other two were just good little supportive units. They're not the same as Globes, they're more supportive, but still, like, solid. I've been enjoying them a lot on this little patch. For Lich, his Archlector unfortunately got gooned. No buffs or changes there, so still, unfortunately, kind of bad. Gold Wizard was okay, Empire Knights were great, Huntsmen did very well, Flagellants were super annoying for me to deal with, and then his state troops were just a lot. There was a lot of things to clear through. But bit of a silly build, I suppose. Mine wasn't hyper serious either. There's some optimizations here, though. Yeah, fun. GG. Roar. Subscribe, yes.